Here we go. It's time for the Belgian Grand Prix at the legendary Spa-Francorchamps circuit as we arrive for round 14 of my F1 24 My Team career mode. Now then, let's talk about the previous episode. If you haven't seen it, the Hungarian Grand Prix, guys, go watch it, link in the top right. Spoiler warning ahead. This is your chance to go click off the video now and see what happened. Now, that race was very much, an average race. And, average in terms of overtakes, action, our pace, just average. It was Hungary, bland, grey, and I won't complain. We got some decent points. We also got an inheritance, another minor failure to the ERS. Now, we took care of activities and we delved over to the upgrades. Now, for this one, we're going to go for the rear wing upper flap because actually it's pretty damn cheap and we can get that on before Zandvoort, which is going to be the next race. We still have 1,500 points left over. However, we do have some upgrades on the way on the timeline. So let's see if they arrive.
I know we were expecting some new developments to come through, but some of them have failed quality control. We'll need to tell the team what to redevelop via the R&D screen.
Now, as you saw, unfortunately, we had a failure on the status for the ERS, so we had to go ahead and repurchase it, and we still had some points left over. So I mentioned it last episode that we're going to go for the ECU to improve fuel consumption of our car, and that'll be it for the ERS and especially fuel upgrades for the season. So with that out of the way, forecast dry, no rain expected. In terms of performance updates, we take a huge step forward this weekend. You can see we've got the line available again and we're right behind Aston Martin. We've very much now just bridged that gap, and it seems like VCarb, Alpine, Williams and Haas are all on the way with us, and Sauber are kind of falling behind a little bit. Either way, it's merging and there isn't really a clear-cut Formula A or Formula B anymore. You can see we have 3 further upgrades on the way, all of them minor, but they're going to help, and you can see that should take us, if not level, possibly above Aston Martin, depending on their upgrades over the next few rounds. Now then, championship. Let's talk about a few things here. These upgrades and this step forward might mean we might have a shot to fight, I don't think the championship, but maybe for a top 3 spot in the drivers. In the constructors, I think 5th place is going to be locked in. I don't think that's going to change regardless of what happens. So we're going to jump into our race runs, and my first lap didn't count. I actually invalidated on the out lap. Quite silly, but the game will then invalidate your first push lap. So we only got 4 official green laps in, but still great pace. Everything looks good.
Okay, test complete, and that was a really good job indeed. We got a lot of valuable information out of that. Well done.
Now with that out of the way, you can see our tyre wear looked really good, 0.9%. Also the fuel consumption surprisingly good for Spa as well. So some really encouraging numbers. Pace wise, you can see we got slower gradually, but still maintained decent consistency, to be fair. It was a pretty decent race run, I'd say, and we finished in the top 10. Chadwick in P19, everybody or the majority of cars on soft tyres, so that kind of highlights where we're at pace wise. Now before we jump into qualifying, we had to change the control electronics. That was around high 60% mark and pretty knackered. We've only got 10 rounds to go, so we can do the second half of the season on that second unit, and the only thing that concerns me really is the energy store because we're on the last one already. So that aside, it's time for qualifying. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the behemoth that they value so highly. This is Spa. It's high speed. It is really challenging. We have elevation, we have dramatic corners, and we have one driver in a few moments' time who will take pole position.
Now then, into qualifying, I want to say we have very good top end speed. We've got a very aggressive low downforce setup from Sim Racing Center. Link down below, guys, for the Black Friday sale. Now hopefully this will pay off. It's a gamble. We did it in 2-player crew with Alex Gillen and it worked out pretty well, so I want to see if it translates to career mode. Now over the line, first lap of the day, it's a 1:41.4 and we go to the top straight away, so a very good banker and already highlighting we've got some serious pace up our sleeve. Now we're going to go for our second lap. So again, same as always, first run we fuel for 2 time laps, and the second one is just going to help us, you know, get a bit faster, because we've done the first one, we know where the limit is, we can try and push a bit more, correct a few corners, and that begins with turn 1. We focus more on the exit, and that gives us time all the way down the hill, heading into Eau Rouge, leaving it in hot lap mode, because you just find time, free lap time all the way up this section. And now onto the Camel Straight. We're going to end the first sector 2 tenths up, so a very strong start to the lap. Into Les Combes, braking at the 50, we do just run a little bit wide there and don't really get the apex at the first corner of the complex, so I lost a little bit of time. We did recover a little bit on the way out, now through turn 8, staying tight. Important to try and get on the power and set up turn 9. Jackie X, formerly known as No Name, and you can see we're still maintaining that advantage. Now into Pouhon, holding it in 7th gear, just kissing the inside curb, carrying good speed, we find a bit more time, and now we head into the chicane, braking to 5th gear, try and get a late apex and prepare the second corner here to really get that exit as we head into Stavelot. Down to 4th gear, just clip the curbs on your way through, and now out of Stavelot 2, we are nearly north of 4 tenths up, heading into the bus stop chicane. Take a breather and now spot the braking point. We're going to go for exactly the 100-meter board as our reference, or the curb on the left. That's kind of the territory. 3rd gear, really attack the curbs at the bus stop, especially the first one, which lets you open up the second apex. Over the line we go, and we shave 4 tenths off our time and drop into a 1:40.9, and that is a statement. We've returned to the garage and we are over half a second up on Lando Norris. I mean, look at the first and third sector times. Lando crushes me in the middle, but it's only him. Everybody else is kind of similar to my pace in the middle sector. So right now, this setup gamble is working out beautifully. Anyway, a minute to go. We're going to jump into our final attempt in qualifying, and we're going to try and hopefully correct that little error into Les Combes and possibly go even a tad bit faster. That's a shame. We just ran a bit wide, but we was 2 tenths up. There was a ton of time in that, but just unfortunate mistake there. Luckily, we don't get punished, and we finish P1 in qualifying on pole position. Leclerc 2nd, Norris 3rd, Verstappen 4th, Sainz 5th, and Perez 6th. All the favourites in the top 6. So, yeah, Chadwick P20. Either way, good session for us, we'll take it. We outscored Perez in our rivalry, and we've got a shot here at winning this race and kind of starting the second half of the season and the final 10 rounds in the best way possible, and that's with the potential W. The pace is there, we're fast on the straights, we're going to be hard to overtake, so let's see what happens. Should be a fun race. It's time for the main event.
It's the Belgian Grand Prix, the site of the maiden victory of the Jordan team in 1998. The venue that Michael Schumacher made his debut in Formula One. There is so much history here amongst the beautiful nature. 19 corners, 4.3 miles or 7 kilometers. There's over 100 meters of elevation change here, with long stretches of the lap spent flat out. Look out for the bus stop chicane. The final challenge before the temporary relief of the start-finish straight. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Martinez lines up on pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Sainz, Perez, Russell, Oscar Piastri, Albon, Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Hamilton, Ocon, Norris, Stroll, Ricciardo, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Sargent, Chadwick, Joe, and Valtteri Bottas begins the race from the back of the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. We welcome to the commentary box Anthony Davidson. I'm Alex Jakes. We're both looking forward to a really intriguing race today. Things seem comfortable, they seem stable right now. That's a positive, but do they need to be pushed to the next level?
Well, that's the thing, you know, as a driver, it's easy to feel like you're the individual. It's all about you, and you know, you want to further your career the best you can, but you have to have the team hat on as well and play the team game, work with your teammate as best you can. It's not an easy balance to figure out.
Here we go then. Time for the race at Spa. Now, I'm looking forward to this. I think we actually could win this quite convincingly if we were to break DRS. Now, that's going to be quite difficult because we are probably a little bit slow in the middle sector. I feel like we've gone for a very aggressive low downforce configuration on the car, which should be good in terms of defending. I think we're going to be very hard to overtake. So I think it could be a race where basically we are ahead of cars behind. I think they're going to be constantly in my DRS, but we're going to have enough straight line speed to basically hopefully shake them off or keep them behind at all times. Also, low wings means very rapid battery recharge. So for this one, we're going to go for a simple one stop. So I'm going to start on softs and go for the medium. I feel like that's what the AI are going to go for, and we are starting P1, so I want to try and conserve and maintain that lead. If we do get overtaken, hopefully it's no worse than P2, and we can hopefully get it back on the Kemmel straight. So fuel, I've gone for 0.4. That should be fine around here. Could have even gone lower, but I don't want to have to risk managing fuel when I'm fighting for the win, which would be a huge win, by the way, because it'd really get us back in the mix for second place in the Drivers' Championship. So, yeah, ready to go, feeling confident. I think it's going to be a good day for us, so let's get into it, and let's try and convert this pole into a win, hopefully securing maximum points. Now, a few things to know in this one, of course. Verstappen is the championship leader. Now, our rivals, or the people we're looking out for here in terms of the fight for second place, are going to be Sainz and Norris. And, of course, Checo Perez is our rating rival. So those three are going to be the ones to look out for. You can see two of them in the top 5. Norris not to be seen, but Leclerc and Verstappen are directly behind. So let's get into it. We're going to try and line up aggressive here and point the car to the outside defensively, and hopefully we can try and hold on to the lead. Right then, here we go. Belgian Grand Prix, lights, revs, and we're underway. What an incredible start from Leclerc, and we're going to get attacked from either side. We're going to get the middle, which is the best place to be in a 3-wide situation, because you can carry speed and momentum, and we should be close enough here that I can re-challenge Leclerc. We'll keep the overtake on over the top of Radion, and now here we go. We're going to tuck into the slipstream. Leclerc with a bit of a D-rate as we now get the overtake on. We're going to head side by side into Les Commons. We're just going to outbrake it and extend the braking zone and get straight back into our P1. So good recovery there. Not a terrible start. Leclerc just got a really, really good one, but we managed that really well with a 3-wide. Crucially, we got the exit, and we trusted the straight line speed. Now, there's a few things to factor in here. I mentioned before, Sector 2, I think we're going to be a little bit slow, but manageable. Based off the 2-player career episode with Alex Gillen, we had pretty poor performance on this tyre. The softs were not a good race compound, so I'm looking forward to hopefully jumping onto some mediums on the next stint. So let's see how this all pans out. For now, we've done well. We've managed our lead. I'm going to try now to be a little bit intelligent with the battery deployment. I can already tell that we're going to be extremely quick on the straight. You can see we're actually pulling away from Leclerc, who has a slipstream. So look at the gap just going up. Insane. We're going to be very, very difficult to overtake unless we get undercut or something, or, you know, something happens, an incident somewhere.
Okay, DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
accidentally braking at my qualifying braking point there, which isn't ideal, so that will give Leclerc a little bit of an invitation, but we're going to manage our battery. Let's see, first proper test in the DRS zone. We're pulling away over the top of Eau Rouge and Radion, and we're still pulling away. Wow, look at that. Insanity. You'd never know Leclerc had DRS. So let's just try and manage this middle sector, do the best we can, and you never know, we might even break DRS just by simply driving in a straight line. So we go purple on that lap, and it looks like nobody is matching. This time we'll hit our turn 1 nicely, give ourselves a little bit of a gap, and this already will begin us starting to hopefully open a gap to Leclerc. It's just the middle sector. If we can have a decent middle and keep a reasonable margin, we should be able to pull away in sectors 3 and then sector 1. That's a really good lap. We found about 3/10 in the middle sector. Bit of a rear lock there, not ideal. That's going to cost us some valuable time. We're starting to spread the field. Perez and Sainz dropping back, so only Leclerc, Verstappen hanging on right now. Verstappen's gone. Only Leclerc remains, and he's pressuring here. He tried to go through, but the line I took just through that little kink on the back straight, he had to get out of it, but the field are dropping one by one. I'm sure we'll get Leclerc as well. I've just got to keep driving my race, driving my pace, and we'll get the gap that we need to pull away. I can already feel the tyres are starting to open up a little bit. Haven't got the same grip or confidence, so we've got to just be a little bit more careful. But crucially, again, that straight line speed is just so good for us. It really, really helps. Again, I could drop the overtake, which I might do on like the in-lap or something. That might be the chance to try and get a gap to Leclerc. But right now, this is fine. We can do this. First one, just pushing a little bit too much there. I tried 7th gear, but there was a bit of understeer, so we'll go back to 6th through Pouhon just to keep the car on track. But I am trying to push here to drop Leclerc.
Information on Ocon. Right, they've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring.
That could be interesting if there would be a safety car. It'd mean everyone would just box and basically complete their strategy. Looks like we're not going to get one though, so we'll continue on. Leclerc's going nowhere, by the way. I did have a decent attempt to drop him last lap, but I made a slight few, just micro errors, but I think Leclerc's going to be here till we box. Oh, yellow.
Okay, clear.
That could be Leclerc. It is Leclerc, and just like that, it gift wraps the win, barring a catastrophic change of events. It could be a safety car, to be fair, but that is a huge moment. Leclerc out of the race, or at least I think he is. Maybe he spun. I think he spun actually. Yeah, he spun. Wow. So Leclerc with a mistake. He's still going. I thought he DNF'd. Unbelievable. Well, that's a nice early Christmas present. So we can now manage. We should be pitting soon, so hopefully not a slow stop, no delays, everything goes well, and we can cruise home. So this is our pit stop lap. We're not going to play any games.
Remember, box this lap. Keep an eye on your distance to the speed limit line as you approach, and make sure you don't speed.
Yep, we're not going to play any games. We're just going to box and keep it safe. We've had quite a decent stint, to be fair, on this soft tyre, but it feels completely knackered now, so we'll switch on to mediums. You can see our tyre wear is also pretty reasonable. So, in we go. No need to risk anything. We've had a very smooth race so far. Managed everything really well. Hopefully, a decent stop. Even if it's a slow one, we should still be ahead of Verstappen. I just hope that we don't give up DRS to him. Now, Sainz goes for an extra lap, overcut. We won't get held, so we're going to have a clean stop here, hopefully. Lovely. Absolutely perfect. Right.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
Rejoining in a bit of traffic. We're going to be just behind Daniel Ricciardo, who will have DRS. Actually, no, he won't have DRS on Pierre Gasly, but we're going to have DRS on Daniel here, so we'll get a little freebie as we pull alongside and blast the DRS to go through with our superior straight line speed. We are going to get stuck behind Pierre though into the middle sector, but that's fine. We'll use it as a chance to just recharge. To be fair, Pierre is on mediums, so not the worst thing in the world. So we'll just take this as a charge lap, and we'll try and hopefully go for an improved fastest lap and extra point as well to really maximize this race and this opportunity to claw back some huge points in the championship, especially versus Lando Norris. Sainz is up there, and so is Max, but especially versus Lando and Checo, we can try and hopefully make some ground. Right, everybody else is in. Verstappen has gained a little bit in that pit phase, but I kind of expected that. We're now going to prepare to pass Pierre as Russell goes for hards, interestingly. We'll just set up turn 1 and make sure that we...
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
Make sure we get the exit, which we do, and now...
Jamie's coming in for a stop.
This should help us get the fastest lap. Straight over the top. Easy pass, easy move. Right, let's try and push now the rest of this lap and try and get that extra point over a second up. And we're going to use a bit of battery to the line here as well, so that should hopefully wrap up the fastest lap of the race. There we go, 1:42.8, Verstappen into second. And we've re-established that gap that we had, so now I'm just going to cruise to the end and bring this one home. Hopefully no safety car and nothing to, you know, disrupt everything. We've had a great race, so let's just try and hopefully bring us home. A nice boring race would be exactly what I desire now. All silly second warning there. Just getting a little bit passive, a little bit, you know, reckless, losing focus. I am just cruising basically, so that's what you get. Let's tidy that up and hopefully not get another one for the rest of the race. So here we go, last lap of the race. A very nice and boring final stint. To be fair, thinking about it, Leclerc making that mistake was not ideal because it means Verstappen, Sainz, Perez, all our near rivals, Norris also will likely score points, so well, extra points. So that's not really ideal, but still, no complaints. We'll take it. What a performance! Our most convincing win of the season. And, you know, the car's getting better. The car's getting quicker. Who knows? Possibly even a second half of the season title fight.
Come on! Now we can fight.
Oh, superb driving. That is the race win, my friend. Well done.
Many doubted whether they could pull off the win here at Spa-Francorchamps, but they've done so in spectacular style.
They led from lights out to the flag at the end, and their race victory was never in doubt, was it? Brilliant stuff by them.
A show-stopping performance from the three drivers approaching the podium right now. It's been an interesting Grand Prix, that's for sure.
There we go. Excellent performance. Really good drive. And also, look at the gaps. And also the fastest laps. I mean, we dominated. Simple as that. The car was phenomenal. We were so quick. And we really made a statement. And we go into the second half of the year looking to try and potentially mount a title charge. Now, that aside, let's quickly run through the final results. Now, the top 10 you've seen on screen. Norris finished P10. Jamie Chadwick, P18. That's a bit better. That's a bit more encouraging. Just behind Sargent and not too far off Stroll in 15th. So, definitely some progress there. Now, if we delve into the standings, we are 75 points away from Max Verstappen. 3 race wins. We're 16 points behind Norris and about 37 points behind Sainz. So it's not looking too bad. In the Constructors, 5th. We've now got almost a 100-point gap over Aston Martin. So I do think the 5th place in the Constructors is not going to change. I think that's where we're going to finish this season because we're too far from 4th and too far ahead of 6th. So I think that's going to be where it ends. So the focus really is going to be on the drivers. So hopefully we can try and secure a championship. If not, a runner-up. If not, a P3. Either way, there's no reason why we can't fight. And we also gave ourselves a decent gap to Leclerc and Perez with that. Speaking of which, Perez, we hopefully will take a decent lead in the rivalry as well now. So that's going to be a really good race for us and tick off many boxes. We also level up hopefully on Acclaim as well and make some progress, getting closer to level 20 Acclaim and unlocking another extra sponsor to increase our cash flow. So things are really looking up, guys, and I can't wait for the future. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, smash the like button. Let's try and hit over 1,000 likes on this episode. As always, subscribe for more content, daily F1 videos on this channel. Also, a massive shout out to the members for supporting the channel and the videos. As always, check out the 2 videos on screen now if you haven't seen them, guys. Also, Cyber Monday deals. Check the top comment, the pinned comment. It's the last day to get yourself some discounts. But yeah, guys, cheers for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.